Hi everybody, welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. This is of course though on my Lenovo Legion T5 gaming PC, so this is kind of a little bit of a demo of how Microsoft Flight Simulator plays on that computer. We're going to be taking the Spitfire for a ride above the Solent over Portsmouth. My Lenovo Legion T5 has the GeForce RTX 3070 in it with the AMD Ryzen 7 CPU, I think, with 16 gigabytes of RAM. All the settings are set to high in Microsoft Flight Simulator, not ultra, because I found that on high the frame rate tends to stay above 60 frames a second most of the time, unless we're going over somewhere really busy like London or New York, where there's lots and lots and lots of buildings. And I would always rather have a frame rate above 60 frames a second, so that's why I've kind of gone with, I've turned VSync on as well to eliminate tearing as well, because I don't like tearing in simulators. I think it really spoils the look. So, brakes off now. I've been having a bit of trouble getting this in the air without crashing. It's a little bit more difficult than the console version. I've turned on all the assists. I keep putting her on her nose. And there we go, up into the wild blue yonder. And I tell you what, this is pretty special. So I'm also playing this on a 27-inch monitor, gaming monitor, set to 1440p. So I guess that's what's really impressive, the fact that we're zooming along at 1440p, almost 80 frames a second on high settings. And this game, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. Now, one of the problems is that I can only capture this gameplay at 1440p 60 frames a second, so you're probably not getting the full effect of this, and I would recommend you play this full screen. Now, I've played Microsoft Flight Simulator a lot on my Xbox Series S, which don't get me wrong, it is lovely, but it's kind of capped at, I think, 30 frames a second. So when you spin the camera around, you don't get that smooth pan. And also what happens is when you get these high frame rates, the sense of depth you get from parallax, so as you go past things and you see things sort of moving, is really, really, really high. It's absolutely fantastic. So we're just coming up to Portsmouth Harbour here, flying over Gosport. There's the Spinnaker Tower. There's the Royal Navy Dockyard. Let's do a slow, lazy turn. But this looks and feels absolutely brilliant. Of course, the Spitfire is paid DLC, but come on, I mean, if you're into World War II, why wouldn't you take advantage of being able to fly around in this lovely machine? Put your headset on. Turn up the volume. See some of the Navy ships there. Currently at about 900 feet. Just roll around. Sun's up a little bit higher now, and we're going to go and do a fly past of one of the carriers. I bought a DLC for the Xbox, and luckily all of the things you buy on Xbox Flight Simulator come over to the PC one. It's not always the other way, because there's things you can buy on the PC version of Flight Simulator that won't work on Xbox, but I guess when they do, see, that's where it looks really cool when you have that view. And I bought the carriers pack. I bought another carrier pack actually for one American carrier that apparently has working catapults. Because look at that. It's beaches of Portsmouth. Can't wait to take the Spitfire over to Normandy, fly over northern France. Do the White Cliffs of Dover, that sort of stuff. This looks absolutely cool. I'm so glad. I wasn't even going to bother downloading it. I mean, I've got Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, so there's all these games you can try out, but I was thinking, oh, Flight Simulator, you know, it takes up so much space on your hard drive, but then I realised how much space I got left on the 2 terabyte hard drive. I mean, I've got over 1 terabyte left. I thought, just go for it. I could download Microsoft Flight Simulator and all the world packs, and although it won't be quite as smooth because it's running off a hard drive and not the SSD, you know, it's going to be pretty good. So this is, I think this is HMS Queen Elizabeth we're coming up to now, one of the new Royal Navy's characters. Might be Prince of Wales, not quite sure. We'll do a bit of a fly past. Absolutely fantastic. So I've flown around New York, I flew over London, I've flown around the south coast quite a lot in the Spitfire, had a bit of a go in the Super Hornet, the free one that we get now with the Maverick pack, and I tell you what, I'm going to be spending a lot of time on Microsoft Flight Simulator, I think. One of the other things that's very exciting is that there's plenty of freeware around, I understand, as well. So I think there's tools where you can import models from freeware models from older flight simulators, but we'll have to see. I mean, the problem with them probably is to do with the control systems and how they work. Just going around Hillhead here. Let's do a little bit of high speed across the British countryside. Portsmouth obviously was bombed during the war, so there would have been plenty of Spitfire and Hurricane action over the top of the city. Not quite sure where we are now. It's funny, you can live in a place for years and years and years, but when you get up into the air, you're like, oh, I wonder where I am. I even get a little bit of vertigo when the frame rate is so fast. Okay, here we go. Alright, let's go to full throttle. Imagine chasing an ME-109 or a damaged Heinkel bomber. I mean, this is amazing. This is what we dreamt of as kids playing video games. You know, firing up Microsoft Flight Simulator in 1982 on my Apple II clone. Who would have thought eventually we'd be actually flying over real world locations in an expertly modelled recreation of World War II Spitfire. Absolutely fantastic. So there we go. So to answer the question, how does Microsoft Flight Simulator run on the Lenovo Legion T5 gaming PC with the RTX 3070? It runs very well indeed. 1440p on high settings, you're going to be getting over normal countryside, you know, over 60 frames a second. basically all of the time. We've kind of been at a steady between 70 and 80 frames per second, haven't we? But I would avoid Ultra, because you go up to Ultra and it really starts dipping below 60 frames per second regularly and getting down to sort of 30 frames per second sometimes as well. But I think high settings, the cockpits of the aircraft look amazing, the ground looks looks amazing too, and I'm very, very impressed. So there we go. What do you think? Put your questions and comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe. And I will of course see you again soon.